Hello Stampers, I'm Dina Lanzendorf at Inkin' with Dink and welcome to my video. This week for my videos I am featuring the Retiring Stamp Set Varied Vases. I really love this stamp set. I'm sad to see it go, and it makes some really nice cards. Birthday, there's also a thanks in the stamp set, so it just makes some really nice cards. So let me show you what I've been making this week. So on Tuesday in my video I made this card right here. Okay, where we just kind of fussy cut out the flowers and adhered them to the front of a card like that. Okay, on Wednesday's video, I made a fancy flap card, okay, that opens up like that. So we just kind of used the individual flowers to decorate that one. So today I decided, well, I'm sure you've seen a lot of card samples using the vases, the flowers, and everything else. So I was trying to find some things that were a little different to do. So today I am making this card right here. So I could not resist, again, using one of the new in colors that is coming out. This is the Magenta Madness color, and I just love it. It makes such springy, beautiful cards, and it really does make some nice looking tulips. So this is what we're making today. So if you're ready, let's get started. So we're going to start off, we need a piece of Magenta Madness cardstock that measures 8.5 by 5.5. We're just going to take it, fold it in half. Be sure and use a bone folder so your fold is nice and crisp. Okay. Our next layer is going to be a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this one is going to measure 5.25 by 4. Okay. Now we're going to stamp on this before we go too much further. So I'm going to pull out my black stamp pad and I'm going to use the words, "Hope your day blooms with happiness." Okay, and I'm just going to ink it up real good and I'm going to stamp it down here in the bottom right hand corner. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside. We will use this again, but first I want to cut some other pieces for my card. Okay, so I've cut a piece of our Designer Series paper. This is our new In Color Designer Series paper, and it is 2 inches wide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down to my piece of Whisper White so that I know how far over I can go when stamping my flowers and stuff. Okay, so just going to stick that like that, and then I'm going to get a pair of scissors and just trim it to the right length, just like that. Okay, now this piece right here is important, so keep it, because what we're going to do now is punch out our vases. Okay, now our vases, we're going to use the Vases Builder punch. Now with this Designer Series paper, if you look at this side, it has words on it. So I want to make sure my words are right side up with my vases. Okay, so if I turn this over, my punch, and I'm ready to punch, you'll see that the tops of my vases are all facing this way. So I want to turn my paper over so that that is facing that way too. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this down in here. And it looks like I'm going to use 2 pieces because it's not big enough. So I've got 2 vases here, and I have another little piece I'm going to stick in here to do my little vase. Punch that out, so I've got all 3 vases punched out. Okay, and then they are going to go on my card. Now kind of decide what you're going to do in which order now, so that this will help when we're ready to stamp our leaves and our stems. Okay, so I think I'm going to put them just like that. We'll turn them so that I can see both sides of my Designer Series paper. Now in our stamp set, there are stamps for leaves and also for stems. Now this is obvious a leaf for a tulip, which is what I'm going to be stamping. So I'm going to use my Garden Green stamp pad, and I'm going to stamp. Now I want to stamp my leaves first. Okay, so I just touched those and messed them up, so let's put them back where I want them. So I want my first leaf in this vase to be facing out that way. So what I do is I leave my vase there for a second, put my stamp image where I want it, move my vase away, then go ahead and stamp my image. Okay? Then I'm going to move this back up there just like that. I'm going to ink it up again, do the same thing. Kind of place it where I want it to go, move my vase, stamp it. One more time, hold it where I want it, move my vase, stamp it just like that. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing with my stem. So I want my stem facing the opposite way of my leaf, but I want to keep in mind if I go down too far, my stem will actually go down to the bottom of my vase. So I don't want it down that far, so you got to look at that for your placement. Put it about where you want it and do it like that. Now things cross over, that's okay, not a problem because that's going to go on there just like that. Ink this up again. I'm going to turn this one the other way. Do it like that. Ink it up again. We're going to go a little more straight this time. And then that'll go just like that. Perfect. All right. So those are ready to go ahead and adhere onto my card. Now I want my vases to pop up a little bit, so I'm going to use some mini glue dots. Nope, mini dimensionals, sorry. Just going to put one on the back of there. Make sure I'm down far enough. Make sure they're centered in my opening, just like that. Okay, this one's going to take a couple of dimensionals. So it's a little longer. Take the backs off and center them down here, just like that. And again, this one's a little longer, so we'll put a couple on him. And we'll fit him here where we want him, just like that. Perfect. All right, now we're ready for our tulips. So for our tulips, what I want to do, since I don't have a stamp pad in the color I want yet, I'm going to use some of my cardstock. And I'm just going to use my tulip punch or stamp that is just the outline of the tulip. Okay, I'm going to ink him up in my basic black, and I'm going to stamp him there. Now I know from past experience I have to spread these out, because if they're too close to each other, when I go to punch them out, they get caught on the other ones. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through, you know what, let's go ahead and trim this so that we don't just waste a ton of cardstock. We'll do it this way. So I'm going to stick this in here, center it in the little tulip area, and then punch it. Move down here, center him in my punch, and then last one, and I can punch him like that. So we've got 1, 2, where'd my other tulip go? Okay, why am I only see? Oh, there he is, clear over there. Okay, he flew. All right, so now we're ready to adhere these to the card. And I am going to use my Tombow because it's a pretty little piece. And I noticed I left my lid off my Tombow last night, so I'm probably going to have to, do a pin in here to loosen him up. Let me grab my other one. I know that's a no-no, and once in a while I forget and leave the lid off. All right, so I'm going to put him down a little bit. The end of the stem can go all the way up to the top of him as long as it doesn't poke through. Okay, oops. Put a little bit of Tombow on him. Let's turn him over. Put him way up here at the top so he's a high one. Turn this one over, a little bit of Tombow. We'll kind of pop him just like that. There we go. Put the lid back on, Dina. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this over, put my snail on all 4 sides. And he is ready to center on my card just like that. So we're coming along. So on this one, I just did a little bit of a bow here. I thought it needed a little something to jazz it up. So I've got my bow maker and some of my linen thread. I love that the linen thread is carrying over to the new catalog. I use this quite a bit. So I'm just going to cut my piece, tie it in a bow. If you don't like doing it this way, you can always tie it around the neck of the vase before you adhere your vase down. But I have my bow maker, so it's the way I like to do it. Then we're going to put that on there with a mini glue dot. So I'm going to open this like this. Got my glue dot there. So I'm going to bring my paper up to my glue dot, just like that. And then it's ready for my tie to go right there like that. So there we go. There is a fun springy birthday card using the Varied Vases stamp set. If you have seen my cards this week and decide that, yes, hey, I have to have that in my collection, go ahead and hop over to dinalstamps.stampinup.net and get your order placed. Stamp sets are guaranteed in stock until the 22nd, which is tomorrow, Friday. And after that, it's only while supplies last. I will tell you the punch is still available, and it is actually carrying over into the new catalog. So it will not, you don't have to worry about it being gone or anything. And if you use my May host code when you place your order, you'll get a kit this month. This month's kit uses the Sailing Home stamp set. 3 different cards. You get 2 each of these 3 cards. One of the cards will be completed for you, so you can use it as your sample. The other one is just going to be the consumable pieces for you to complete these cards. And like I said, you just get this kit mailed to you when you place an order and use my May host code. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for joining me this week looking at the different ways to use the Varied Vases stamp set. Please share my video with your friends, and I'll catch you next time.